Hi guys. I'm going to come at you guys today with something very serious. I saw a news clip from Chek News just a little while ago showing two grown men saying some very distasteful remarks about the freedom movement and some misconceptions about what the Canadian flag is being used for. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys that clip and I'm going to dissect what Chek News said and what these people were saying and point out how misguided and uneducated these people are toward what is going on. Okay? I could easily have been very angry and aggressive, but that's not the approach we need to be taking, right? So here's the clip. I'm going to show you the clip in full first. It's a 2-minute clip, and then I'll show parts of it here and there, and we're going to dissect it bit by bit, okay? It's a very disturbing clip. It's a clip that really promotes a lot of division. It is meant to promote not only division, but a bad image of what the movement and what the flag really represents. So let me show you guys the clip first, and then we'll dissect it here and go through it point by point. Here's the clip.
Due to a symbolic sticker, graphic artist Victor Crapnell decided it was time to create a design with a positive message about the Canadian flag.
It really started to bother me that our beautiful flag was hijacked by a small group of very vocal people with an anti-Canada message.
For weeks, a convoy of vehicles drove to and around the legislature, draping their vehicles in the Canadian flag to identify themselves as part of the anti-mandate movement. Crapnell decided to create a sticker prompting people to reclaim the Canadian flag.
It's the round sticker with a large Canadian flag crushing a semi-tractor trailer with some people standing around as if to go like, what happened? And the text on the sticker reads, "Canada, take back your flag."
The response is overwhelming after a column in the Times Colonist newspaper. For now, he's giving them away.
I've received a ton of emails and I'm going to be mailing them out.
We're pretty optimistic and we're pretty sure that there's going to be a great level of pride for Canada Day.
The flag shop owner Paul Servos unpacks boxes of Canadian flags. Demand is picking up despite closing the shop whenever the convoys appeared in town.
We did not want a group of anti-vaxxers coming in here and buying Canadian flags to be misused in their purpose. So we were very assertive in saying, no, this is wrong.
But now Servo says it's time for locals to reclaim the Canadian flag, and his shop is ready.
I have boxes of them, hoping that we were going to have a good Canada Day this year, and we're hopeful that we're going to see people be proud of Canada and the Canadian flag again, and drown out their message.
While the convoys appear to have run out of gas, Crapnell and Servos aim to promote the flag as a symbol of what it means to be Canadian.
Okay, so as you saw, those two adult men were saying some very distasteful things about, anti-vaxxers and closing their businesses to people and saying the flag was hijacked by anti-Canadian people. This does not sit well with me. Okay, we got to clarify these things right now. This is a very distasteful clip that Chek News just aired. So I'm going to go through this bit by bit here. Now I'm going to show probably about 7 different mini clips of this. Okay, so I'm going to show you the first clip. We're going to go in order. I'm going to show you the first clip right now, and we're going to dissect it. Take a look at this.
Due to a symbolic sticker, graphic artist Victor Crapnell decided it was time to create a design with a positive message about the Canadian flag.
Okay, so in that clip was Chek News with a person named Victor Crapnell. Chek went on to say that that logo sends a positive message. Look at this logo right here. Now what that logo is showing is the Canadian flag in a destructive manner with a vehicle. Destroying, crushing, breaking a vehicle. Okay? It is showing destruction, and it is showing abuse, and it is showing violence. There's no way around that. There's no hugging, there's no heart, there's no handshake. That is an extremely destructive logo that Chek News and that person are trying to promote as positive. You heard it. There's nothing positive about that. Is this what our country has come to? Is this what our mainstream media is now all about? Showing our flag in a destructive manner, in an abusive manner. And keep in mind, in the Ottawa protest, the mainstream media made a huge deal about the Canadian flag being wrapped around Terry Fox. But what they didn't show are the people cleaning up the Terry Fox statue, sweeping all around it and cleaning it up real nice. They didn't show that. How is this not desecration of the Canadian flag being used in a destructive, violent manner? That is disgusting. Next clip.
It really started to bother me that our beautiful flag was hijacked by a small group of very vocal people with an anti-Canada message.
Okay, there you have Victor Crapnell saying the flag was hijacked by people with an anti-Canadian message. 2 years ago, I co-founded a group called A Celebration of Freedoms and Rights. And you can see the logo right here. Now look what it says. Celebration, freedoms, and rights. Nowhere on this shirt does it say anti-anything. Nowhere on here is there an abusive, destructive, violent message. We are celebrating our freedoms and our rights. And that was the basis of this entire movement, not only across Canada, but anyone standing up over these last 2 years. We're fighting for freedoms and rights. And under that banner, under that headline, we were fighting for the freedom to choose, free speech, freedom of expression, freedom of, political beliefs, but more importantly, informed consent, body autonomy, my body, my choice, the right to choose for ourselves, medical freedom, pro-choice, and pro-freedom. That has been our message for the last 2 years. And the mainstream media and government refuses to acknowledge what we are truly about. They promote the narrative of anti-this, anti-that, and this person bought right into it. I asked him, Victor, did you make up that anti-word? Where did you get that word from? Who promotes that word a lot? Who uses that word? The mainstream media does? Politicians do? Government does? It is a word, is a prefix meant to cause divide and hatred. Anti-vax, anti-mask, anti-mandate, anti-everything. And Victor, you bought right into it. You obviously listen to the media. You obviously listen to the government, because those are the people that put that word in front of anything movement related, anything to do with freedom, anything to do with protesting. And you bought right into it. You certainly haven't listened to us over the last couple of years. And let me put it this way. If we're anti-mask, anti-Canadian, anti-vax, if the government was to take away your right to wear a mask, your right to choose if you wanted to wear a mask, your right to choose if you wanted a vaccine or not, your right to choose what medicine to put in your body, your right to choose if you wanted to put something in your body to keep your job or not. If the government took that away from people like you or from anybody, I and a lot of people would be standing up for your right to be able to wear that mask and for your right to be able to take that vaccine. Now you tell me, Victor, or Chek News, or whoever's watching, how is that anti-mask or how is that anti-vax? You tell me, because it's not. It's about freedom of choice, and that's been our message for the last 2 years. Now, you want to say we're anti-Canadian. Do you know what's in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms? I'll put it up right here. The right to free travel, the right to free speech, free expression, the right to political beliefs, the right to religious beliefs. What is anti-Canadian about standing up for those rights? What is anti-Canadian about preserving our freedoms and our rights? Not only that, I'll put another thing up here right now. The Human Rights Code, the BC Human Rights Code. Do you know what's in that, Victor? Chek? It's law. It is a law meant to prevent discrimination against what? Sex, sexual orientation, gender, place of origin, physical and mental disabilities, which a lot of people have. And do you know this, that some people actually cannot wear a mask? They have a medical or a physical disability that prevents them from wearing it. Did you ever hear the government, Doug Ford, Bonnie Henry, Justin Trudeau, cite the BC Human Rights Code or the Ontario Human Rights Code or the Alberta Human Rights Code? How often did you hear them cite that? Hardly ever. We were the ones fighting for those rights to be adhered to. And if you're saying standing up for the Human Rights Code and the Charter is anti-Canadian, then you have a twisted view of what Canada really is. And it's very disappointing. Let's show another clip.
For weeks, a convoy of vehicles drove to and around the legislature, draping their vehicles in the Canadian flag to identify themselves as part of the anti-mandate movement.
So there you just saw Chek News say the movement is anti-mandate. This movement has been going on for 2 years. Again, look what's on my shirt. Freedoms and rights. Never have we been promoting, we are anti this, we are anti that. What is anti? Again, the media uses it, the government uses it, we don't use it. We're not anti anything. We are pro freedom of choice, my body, my choice, the right to choose. And if anyone's come to any of the protests, any of the rallies, you would know that we speak about this. In almost every protest, we say we're not anti anything. We are pro freedom of choice. And again, here we go with the news promoting the narrative of anti. This is 2 years of this movement now that's been going on, and they haven't reported on this properly yet. Let me ask you this. If I don't like the ingredients in a can of tuna, and I don't want to eat sodium, am I now anti-tuna? Am I anti-fish? No, of course not. But why is that label put on us if we're about freedom of choice to choose when there's an agenda, a medical agenda behind this, or a political agenda? That's the use of the anti-word. It's meant to divide. It is not our message. Here's another clip.
Crapnell decided to create a sticker prompting people to reclaim the Canadian flag.
It's the round sticker with a large Canadian flag crushing a semi-tractor trailer with some people standing around as if to go, like, what happened? And the text on the sticker reads, "Canada, take back your flag."
There's Victor again. Now, if you listen to him, listen to the tone of his voice. Anger, resentment. I don't want to say hatred, but he's got a lot of pent-up resentment towards, this movement, toward people standing up for their freedoms. And look at the logo. Look at the misspelling. He can't even spell freedom right. Yes, obviously he put dumb on there, D-U-M-B, on purpose. F-R-E, convoy with a K, mocking what it's meant to be about freedom. And again, crushing a truck. Now, is that not desecration of the Canadian flag? Chek News, you reported on it. You said that's a positive message. I challenge you, Chek News. How is that not desecration of our Canadian flag? How is that not desecrating our Canadian flag by associating it with an act of violence? You said that's a positive message. Care to explain that, Chek News? I'll wait all day. I'm here. Let's take another look at another clip.
We're pretty optimistic and we're pretty sure that there's going to be a great level of pride for Canada Day.
The flag shop owner Paul Servos unpacks boxes of Canadian flags. Demand is picking up despite closing the shop whenever the convoys appeared in town.
So there you have Paul Servos talking about how he closed his shop for convoyers and protesters. Now, I don't think he realizes what he's done here, or what he did, or whatever. Because again, when you don't know what your freedoms or your rights are, you don't know that you're giving them away, and you don't know that you're discriminating against people for their rights under the Human Rights Code. That was discrimination against people for their political beliefs. Absolutely discrimination. He's disallowing people into his shop because he disagrees with their political stance. That's against the law. Did you know that, Paul? Did you know that? I don't think you did. Because unfortunately, people like you don't know what your rights are, and you don't know what's written in that Human Rights Code, and you don't know how to extrapolate that information as it applies to store policy or as to mandates. And that's what we have been standing up for the last 2 years. We've been standing up for your rights, for your freedoms. And then you turn around and shut your doors on people that have actually been standing up for your rights and your freedoms for the last 2 years for political reasons. That is against the law. And I don't think you're aware of that. And you know what? You probably don't care. And that's really sad. Let's take a look at one more clip.
We did not want a group of anti-vaxxers coming in here and buying Canadian flags to be misused in their purpose. So we were very assertive in saying, no, this is wrong.
So there you have him again, calling people anti-vaxxers. Again, Paul, I don't want to say the same thing over and over, but where did you hear that word? You didn't make it up. Where did you get it from? Mainstream media? Government? Politicians? Probably so, because it doesn't come from us. Again, how are we anti-vax if we're fighting for people's rights to choose? We're fighting for your right to choose whether you should put something in your body or not. And then to have people turned away from their jobs because they choose medical freedom, they choose to stand up for their right to medical privacy, their right to choose what is right for their body, and you're going to call them anti-vaxxers. There's nothing anti-vax about this movement. And do you not know, when you called them anti-vaxxers, the people in the trucker convoy to Ottawa, a bunch of them admitted they were vaccinated. They said, this is not about being anti-vaccine. This was about government restrictions, government mandates. Their issue was with the government, not the vaccine. It was with the mandates and the restrictions. Did you not hear what their message was? Were you too engulfed in global news and Chek News, CNN, CBC, the government, to hear what their message actually was? There's nothing anti-vax about this movement. You want to get the vaccine? Go for it. You want to get the vaccine? Go for it. You want to get it? Go for it. This is about people's right to choose what's right for their health. And again, it's nobody's job to look out for someone else's health but you. It's not your responsibility to make sure I'm healthy, and it's not my responsibility to make sure you're healthy. Our rights don't end where your fear begins. If you're scared, stay home. Don't go out and impose your fear on other people's bodies. You know, that was a very disturbing clip, and I'm really disgusted, very disgusted that Chek News, not that it's not really expected, but that a mainstream media outlet is now actively promoting that the Canadian flag is being used in an anti-manner. It's being used now to divide people. If people see someone waving a Canadian flag, they're going to go, oh my God, that guy's an anti-vaxxer. That woman's an anti-masker. They are now using the Canadian flag as a means to divide people now. We can't have pride in our country because what people like us have been standing for, what that flag means to us, is everything we've been fighting for, is everything on this shirt. Freedoms and rights, a free country, a democracy that has been stripped away from us. And it's unfortunate that people like you guys, Paul and Victor, don't seem to understand. I'll leave you guys with one more thing. I openly invite Paul and Victor, Chek News, CBC, Global, City, come on my Facebook Live anytime, any day, any hour, any minute, any second. And we'll have a discussion, open discussion about all this stuff. Just make sure you have your knowledge of your Charter of Freedoms and Rights, your Bill of Rights, the Human Rights Code, and the law. Because I do, right here. It's the Human Rights Code that I helped make. Pamphlet, all about our human rights, which is law. So if you want to have a discussion with me on my Facebook Live, have a pre-recorded video discussion, chat, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Let's have a discussion. That's what the media and our government doesn't want. They don't want us to interact. They want us to hate each other. And I'm not falling for it. I'm not going to be angry like you guys were. We're about love, peace, and unity. You might have some, brutal feelings toward us. We got nothing but love for you guys. We've been fighting for you guys for the last 2 years. I don't have a clenched fist. I got an open hand. I'll shake your hand. Let's have that discussion. And unfortunately, because you misspelled freedom on purpose, I'll spell my email address out for you so you can get a hold of me. EIGHTIES _ METAL at HOTMAIL.com. 80s_metal@hotmail.com. Email me. Get a hold of me. We'll chat. We'll do a Facebook Live. We'll discuss about all this stuff. But make sure you bring your knowledge of freedom, of rights, of the law, the BC Human Rights Code, the Charter of Freedoms and Rights, mandates, law, and policy. Because I'm ready. I know what my rights and freedoms are. And I'll gladly inform you on what yours are. And I'll stand up for your freedoms and rights when the government hasn't done it themselves. Know your rights. Protect your rights. Or they'll take your rights. Thanks, guys.